what we can do, turn on the mega tower. That's immediately going to summon 30,000 coffee drinkers in out of nowhere. Then if we go to the disasters tab, we can then just slam on a quick meteor strike into the mega tower, and I'm hoping that should simplify the coffee drinking. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Spiffing Brit, and today we're playing SimCity. That's right, it's the city builder game that was released in 2013, and you've probably not seen any videos of it since, because, well, this game didn't exactly get received very well at all. This game is what I like to call an EA classic when it comes to releasing a new entry into a beloved franchise. At launch, this game was absolutely famous for being an online-only game, which you needed to be connected to the internet in order to play. The only issue is, even if you were connected to the internet, you needed to have the luck of 477 condensed Irish people to actually be able to connect to one of the 2 active EA servers. This basically meant that this giant game, which some people had spent about £70 on, they really couldn't actually play. But if anything, that was a blessing in disguise, because what game is actually there for your money? My goodness, what a unique city building experience. So today we're going to be diving into the lovely world of SimCity with all of the various DLCs which have now been released post-launch, and I'll be demonstrating one of my favourite really silly, cheesy strategies to completely mess with the game. Because you see, the developers intend you to build a glorious, bustling city which is a true metropolis, which looks like this giant, glorious technological utopia in the background. That's what they want you to make. Now I'm going to make pretty much the exact opposite of that. Yes, we're going to see if you can in fact beat SimCity without building a city at all and only placing down residential. That's right, there'll be no utilities, there'll be no food, there'll be no water. It will be one giant human rights violation, but my goodness, it's going to be perfect. So without further ado, make sure you sat back, relaxed, you have a nice warm cup of tea in hand, and if you're feeling especially fantastic, you can even give this video a like. Now, let's dive into this gloriously broken game. So what we're going to do is pick the most basic map. It's called Cape Trinity, and of course we need to rename this, because this area is basically going to be known for just dumping residents into the middle of nowhere and hoping that they survive without any support whatsoever. Consequently, it makes only perfect sense that I call it Australia, for we will be dumping all of the coffee drinkers in the entire world into this one small area. Now all we need to do is actually claim where we want to build our city, and we might as well go for this region here. It wants to be called Trinity Point, but don't worry, we can rename that later. Now Trinity Point, similar to Australia, has no natural resources beyond wind and water. Anyway, what we're going to do is throw ourselves into this glorious little region where we start out with 50,000 simoleons and no population, and I, as the glorious mayor of New Australia, will create a city in a way which makes absolutely no sense. Now the thing is, if you were to join a city or any society, there are a couple of things that you need in order to survive. Mostly you need electricity, water and sewage, as well as also waste disposal, fire services, hospital services and police services, and heck, if you want to go even further, education are all necessary things to actually encourage people to live in your society. Now when it comes to most city builders, there's a couple of key important things that you need. You need a whole bunch of resources, and you need to encourage people to stay by giving them a nice area to live. Now what we're going to do is set up a nice starting area to live by building this giant highway and then running various districts just simply off of it using this regular road, which is going to build out a nice long way for about 4,000 simoleons, and perfect. And then all we're going to do is build right the way back. Now this game uses a horrific grid system where you basically have to prioritize every single thing in your city based off of how efficient it shapes up in a grid. This means that almost all of your cities will look like an identical wasteland of perfect square boxes. I'm sorry, but if you have creativity and vision, then you should have probably picked up city skylines instead. Now all we've done is simply built a nice set of roads, and we're ready to actually invite our first new people into our glorious, glorious city, which is no longer going to be called Trinity Point, no. It's going to be called New Starbucks. That's right, we're going to lure all of the coffee drinkers in with promises of overpriced coffee. That's exactly what they like. Now this glorious monstrosity of a grid-based city is now pretty much perfect to be hooked up to the grid, and what we're going to do is slam down a whole bunch of residential everywhere. Now the way city zoning works is you simply say, hey, if you want to build a house, then sure, you can build it on this plot of land, and people will come in from the outside world and build their own little houses. Now because our city is pretty new and coffee drinkers generally spend all of their income on coffee instead of actually any savings, a lot of these early houses are going to basically be micro homes or just RV trailers. They're not going to be very fancy, but as our first few citizens citizens move in, you'll notice immediately we're making money off of taxes. Isn't that fantastic? I love tax. And more people are going to be moving in as we're promising them fresh, tasty coffee and, more importantly, free land to park their RVs in. Now there we go, we've got lots of housing for all of these residents, which is absolutely glorious and lovely. My goodness, this is just perfect. Now we don't really need to worry about a lack of beautification when it comes to a city, it doesn't matter. But when it does come to running cities, usually the things that you need to worry about are of course water, because people living in a city need water to drink. However, these people mostly drink coffee and consequently they don't deserve water. So we're not going to be giving them any water at all. Now they will be complaining because not only do they want water, they also want electricity. Goodness, these people are needy. But naturally we're not going to be giving them electricity or water. Instead, what we're going to do to make sure everyone's really happy and to encourage more people to move in, we're going to build the most broken building in this entire game, the Nissan Leaf charging station. Now you might be thinking, hang on a second, is that the Nissan Leaf, copyrighted by of course the Nissan Corporation? And you'd be right, it is. That's because one of the DLCs for this game is an entirely sponsored DLC by Nissan to put a Nissan Leaf charging station in their game. Now for some reason, as part of the sponsorship deal, EA buffed the heck out of the Nissan Leaf charging station. What does the Nissan Leaf charging station do? Well, simply, it makes your Sims happy, and it costs 5,000 simoleons to put down, and it only costs 40 simoleons an hour. Now there are lots of buildings which you can put down to make your simoleons happy, like for example, say a park. This park here is pretty good, it's rather long, and it makes our citizens happy, so I'll just slap it down over here. Glorious stuff. Park gets put down, these citizens get happy. The only issue is it doesn't affect a lot of citizens in a range, but it does also increase the land value, which is lovely. The only difference with the Nissan Leaf charging station is there is literally no limit to the range of happiness caused by the Nissan Leaf charging station. It is like an orbital satellite of happiness. Now generally when you're actually building a city or a town in the real world, people won't move into your city unless they can actually gain things from the city, like for example a place to shop or a place to work. Now our city's pretty unique in the fact that we offer nothing. In fact, we don't offer electricity, which is usually cause for people to leave a city. But of course what we're going to do is not supply electricity, but instead build the Nissan Leaf charging station, which will make everyone in this entire city very happy. That's right, we just build the Nissan Leaf charging station, we take a look at the happiness map mode. Who doesn't love the Nissan Leaf charging station? The thing is, logically, right, it's a charging station, so it would use electricity. However, the game devs realized that if they added a building that only gives happiness and uses electricity, no one's going to build it. So instead, they made it so that it doesn't use anything. It doesn't produce pollution, and it just gives happiness. It's just a free happiness building. Why would you add that into the game? Check out all these people charging up their Nissan Leafs. Somehow, I don't really know where the power's coming from, but it's a possibility. Now, the biggest issue to, of course, our city at the moment is usually fire, because if there's a fire that happens, because we don't have a fire station, that could burn down the entire city. And you know what? That's fine. Now what we're going to do is build another Nissan Leaf charging station and just watch as the happiness ripples across our entire city. Every single house in the city is suddenly filled with glee and joy as a new Nissan Leaf charging station has been built. I just don't know why. Why would you want to stay in a city just because they have a charging station for a car that you can't afford because you don't have a job? Or are they just handing out Nissan Leafs for free in this universe? Who knows? Anyway, once again, people are getting a little bit happy because, you know, no electricity, so we're going to build another Nissan Leaf charging station, and that's lots of green happy faces across. In fact, some people actually quite happy with their existence here. This individual here, very happy indeed. Rising happiness. Now, of course, it is prime opportunity and a great time to just build even more districts, so that's exactly what we're going to do. More residential houses everywhere, just because why not? Yeah, they're so cheap to build. In fact, they don't actually cost anything and they just give us money. Now, our city is actually looking pretty good. We're approaching a population of 8,131, which is nice, and for some reason residential happiness is still climbing, which is quite impressive given the fact that they still don't have electricity, and the green residence is saying we can't live here without power. Well, not having power is something that you're going to have to get used to, I'm afraid, little individuals. Now, of course, we've got one more Nissan Leaf charging station that we can slap down, so we're going to slap it down right on over here and just watch as the happiness spreads across all of the city. Look at that, a brand new Nissan Leaf charging station, 2 bars of additional happiness there as everyone is overjoyed with the Nissan Leaf charging station. Despite there not actually being any food or water or places to shop or work, we are actually still able to force society to develop, and the way we can do this is by artificially inflating land prices by spamming down parks everywhere. So if we build a whole bunch of parks over here, we could eventually inflate the cost of living to a point where only the rich can survive. And now we're forcing actual large homes to develop. These homes still don't have electricity, but people are moving into them. Oh my goodness, these poor educated individuals moving into what is literally hell. But the good thing is these educated people pay more in taxes. Now that's what we like to see in our society, because we're now up to 23,000 in the bank. Isn't that lovely? What are we going to do with our 23,000? You guessed it, more roads. Roads for everyone, because more roads is more living space. Now of course it's time to spam down even more residential areas, just get a whole bunch more people moving in. Income is now reaching 4,000 an hour, which is absolutely lovely, very good. And we have 10,000 residents living here in new Starbucks. Now one thing I will actually do, because I want to build a town hall. In order to build a town hall I need power and water. I will temporarily provide power and water, but I am demolishing this as soon as it passes the mission. So we're bam, we just simply need to let them run and fire. There we go. Wind power plant, just spin. Do a quick spin, spin wind turbine, there we go. And now that is powering the city. There is electricity going out, perfect. And now I can build a town hall. So we're going to slap down a town hall, and that's also going to make everyone very happy as they love the town hall. And what we will do is demolish immediately that wind turbine and that water plant, because we're not doing that. We're getting rid of both of those things. No one wants water. And there we go. The town hall is built, and that's making everyone very happy. But more excitingly, we can immediately upgrade the town hall to a tier 2 town hall because of the amount of population we have in our city. Now a tier 2 town hall is pretty spicy because it allows us to set the tax rate. Now what we're going to do is lower the tax rates as much as possible to 2%. And by lowering the tax rates to 2%, that's going to make people very happy because it means the city's really cheap to live in. We've kind of created a lovely haven for people wanting to avoid tax. The only downside is you also avoid all infrastructure. What's this? Mayor to Spiffing Brit. I'm really enjoying life here in New Starbucks. We have a vibrant, diverse city here. Oh, you'd like me to build a church? That sounds great. I can build a church because that doesn't give people jobs technically. And it means that we can actually give people in our city something to do, I guess. They can just sit and go to a church. Plus, it's also free. That's exactly the kind of thing that I like. So let's go build a whole bunch of these really awesome looking temples everywhere. There we go. Bam, temple, and bam, temple, and bam, churchy thing, and bam, churchy thing. Lovely. Oh, this is going to do fantastic. Everyone loves this. Bam, and that sends happiness out all across the city. Look at that. So much happiness. Who cares that you can't live here without power? Look at that. We're now at medium levels of happiness. People are dying, but the happiness is on the rise. There we go. We just hit 15,000 residents. That's fantastic. This is almost entirely off of the back of us not supplying anything, but mostly just having really low tax rates, because who wouldn't want to move to a place where you only get hit by 2% taxation no matter how much money you make? Now we can also upgrade our city hall again. There we go. We're upgrading New Starbucks from being a small town to an actual proper city. Now isn't that just truly majestic? Ladies and gentlemen, I've come up with the ultimate plan for today's video. That's right. I intend to lure thousands and thousands of coffee drinkers into actually watching this video. And of course the easiest way to do that is to exploit the YouTube algorithm by liking and commenting on this video. That's right. This way we'll be able to lure as many coffee drinkers as possible right the way down to Australia, where they can enjoy the raging inferno not caused by random bushfires, but rather because the entire city lives inside of camper vans and don't know how to use microwaves. It turns out all those conspiracy theorists were right, and microwaves do actually kill people, or rather the people using microwaves in completely the wrong way kill people using microwaves. My goodness. Right, let's dive into this video even further. Now what I am going to have to do is increase the tax rate just a little bit in our city, not because we want people to move out, but mostly because we need a little bit of money to give us a bit of leeway. Also, we can now build mega towers for some unknown reason, because I guess it's another place where we can put people. I mean, it basically allows us to slam a population into a really small location, so a mega tower might be a good idea, but it is also very expensive. Oh dear, what's this? Oh no, it looks like it's our first fire, ladies and gentlemen. Oh no, one of our Sims decided to cook something at 800 degrees, and now their entire house is on fire. Now, this is an issue because, generally speaking, that's going to force them to move out, but also it's going to destroy their house. Now, I, of course, can't destroy a building that's on fire, so instead, what we can do is just destroy all of the nearby buildings. And by destroying all of the nearby buildings, there is nowhere for that fire to spread to, and the house will simply burn down. But more importantly, it won't bring any other houses down with it, and that's what we like to see. Now, people will still keep moving in, no matter how bad the ratings of the area are, simply because the taxes are low, and also this game is bugged so that it will just always force people to move in no matter what. So that's going to allow us to build the lovely Department of Tourism for only £15,000. Slamdouche, it's now added, and that Department of Tourism is now going to allow us to build whatever tourism we like. Now all we have to do is save up the 50,000 necessary to actually build a wonder, but until then we need to do once again a selective fire policing policy by bulldozing a lot of these houses. Sorry, if anyone did live in these houses, you're now gone. Stop trying to build houses next to the places that are on fire. Good God, stop trying to build next to flaming houses. It is not a smart idea. Just let the people in those houses die and then you can build your properties. There we go, much better. Now the city's doing quite good. We're going to be probably resting around about 15 to 16,000 population for the majority of this game, and we can expand it by, of course, building more areas for housing to go, and more importantly building parks everywhere, as that will encourage higher quality housing. Now honestly, we can just let a few of these fires burn. That's fine. We don't really need to worry about stopping the fires. Instead, what I can do is take out a loan for, let's say, 25,000. Yeah, that's good. That'll give us 60 grand in the bank, and that's going to allow us to build a nice tourism attraction. Yeah, let's go for the Edificio Copan, a really fancy great big building that can house 1,000 people. That's right, that's 1,000 taxable citizens. Let's just slam it down right here. Look at that lovely stuff. Now of course they want power, but it doesn't matter because they basically immediately added 1,000 people into the population of the city that will never leave. Now what I've done is I've lowered taxes by an additional 1% so that we can squeeze even more happiness out of our citizens, because happiness and approval is now on the rise because they like the new city buildings. I mean, look at some of the mixed happiness ratings in this city. My goodness, a real mixed bag, but they all pay taxes and that's all that matters. There's a lot of taxpayers out there, in fact. Speaking of which, we could probably get away with actually building new lands to actually house people on. And I realize I'm using garbage actual streets, whereas instead I could be using more efficient dirt roads. Yes, dirt roads. Now that's the future. They're much cheaper to build. Ah, perfect. And honestly, the difference between living on a paved road and a dirt road when you don't have access to running water is probably not really that much of a big deal for these people. Oh, what's this? Is there an earthquake happening? Oh, there is. Oh dear. That might be quite bad. Honestly, probably not the worst thing that could happen to our city. Oh my goodness, it happened all around here. Our fellow Sims are lost but not forgotten. 1,800 people died today. Good lord. We've got a lot of people in our city. Now, what I am going to do is increase the taxation to the maximum so that we get 15,000. This is going to cause most of our Sims to leave the following day. However, we're going to be able to let an hour tick on by and then immediately crank the taxes down to the bottom again. So what we're going to basically do is have tax placed at 0, where we lose 1,500 simoleons an hour, and then crank up the taxes to 20% on alternating hours, and that should be enough to keep our entire population of 18,000 in the city, whilst also having a nice large quantity of money off of them. Oh my goodness, we're up to 33,000 simoleons, which is lovely, although now medium happiness is dropping pretty hard because of taxation, so we'll drop the taxation right on down to 0. There we go. 33 grand, that's a nice thing to have in the bank. Now what I'm going to do is take out a great big loan for 50 grand, and that's going to allow me to build the legendary Globe Theatre. But yeah, I'm pretty sure the Globe Theatre is the one I want to make because it's a tourist attraction that can potentially make money. So bam, we have the Globe Theatre. Now hopefully, unlike the real Globe Theatre, it's not going to burn down in a fiery inferno. One thing that I love about this city is that it's an absolute and utter ghost town, with the occasional small child that I can spot hiding in one of these buildings. But of course, whenever I find one of the few surviving children of this city, we naturally have to slam a meteor down into them. I'm sorry, there's no running. You might be wondering why on earth I'm impacting meteors into children. Well, it's because they're the crispiest and tastiest to eat when inevitably this city runs out of food. Although I'm pretty sure it did that a long time ago. Alright, time for me to go completely AFK and just let this city tick on over, and we'll see just how well it does. What I'll do is I'll quickly pay off a loan before I go and drop the tax rate even further, and that should keep the population ticking along quite nicely with this lovely low tax rate. Even though we have constant blazing giant fires in the entire city, I'm sure that'll be okay. Right, now I've been gone for a while and I've come back with 120 grand in the bank, which means I can build our first mega tower. Now this is an entire apartment block only housing humans, and of course it apparently makes people happy. People across the city are going to love the fact that we've built this giant megacorp. I mean, it literally just houses human beings. There is generally nothing else to it. It's just one great big mega tower with an apartment on top of it, and that is honestly fantastic. That's all we're going to need, because we're just going to harvest tax off of this bad boy. Now I know technically with megacorps you're meant to build like a whole bunch of office blocks and make money off of having them work jobs, but no, we don't like having jobs. Instead we like having apartments that are available for rent, which of course people are going to move into and rent. And immediately 1,200 people have moved in. Now at a cost of $24 per resident to actually live inside of this government mandated building, that means we're going to be turning a profit of about $400, I think, something like that. Or it's going to break even, one or the other. And that's fine because it means we still make money off of the tax income from these people. So we're just going to keep on stacking even more and more mega towers on top of each other. And of course the mega apartment is slowly dealing with power failures and water problems because there is no power or water, but that's still not going to stop the fact that people still want to live here. So we're just going to keep grinding money out of them and building, more excitingly, a brand new apartment level. Not a premium apartment level where we can charge medium wealth people, but one where we can just ram in as many tax-paying citizens as possible. And that's going to make the entire city even more happy because who doesn't love a mega tower? It's almost as exciting and as happy as building a Nissan Leaf car charging station. Right, I'll be back in a little while once I've managed to get even more mega towers built, and hopefully they can't burn down. I honestly don't know if they can burn down or not, but I'm going to really cross my fingers. Right, now we've finally completed this entire mega tower, so naturally we're going to slam a giant tiered park onto the top of it because why not? That's going to improve the satisfaction of the people living inside here, which is kind of important because most of them are now dying of thirst because the city population is now at 63,000. Most of them do live inside of this one giant mega tower, but they'll be happier once this giant park on the top is constructed. Also, a lot of the city is just mostly burnt and abandoned because everyone went to go live inside the giant mega tower. And there we go, we've increased the happiness of everyone inside this mega tower thanks to having this giant tiered park here. Now what I will then now do is absolutely slash the taxes down to 0 as we try and encourage people that actually living inside of these abominations and death traps is not a terrible idea. You know what, I'd say things have gone rather well in terms of the city, you know? Only a few 100,000 people died due to the massive fires, and we've now got this giant technological mega tower in the city, which is pretty good, I'd say. Although I've realized that the new mega park at the top, which I spent a whole bunch of money on, is actually closed because apparently it needs electricity. Ah, that was a bit of a waste of cash then, wasn't it? Oh well, I tried to make people happy. It turns out I just can't. You know what? This city's looking pretty gosh darn good. We're in a position where once again we can sit and save up money and probably buy another tourist attraction in a while. Oh my god, 50,000 people used to live here. Now it's just a ghost town. Look at this abomination of a city. You know what though? I'd say this city's actually been quite a success. New Starbucks, it's done a fantastic job of attracting coffee drinkers, and you know what? I've just realized something. What we can do, turn on the mega tower, that's immediately going to summon 30,000 coffee drinkers in out of nowhere. Then if we go to the disasters tab, we can then just slam on a quick meteor strike into the mega tower, and I'm hoping that should simplify the coffee drinking. Now apparently that doesn't do anything. It does kill 2,000 people, so maybe instead a tornado followed by maybe a giant big lizard. Oh, just look at that tornado go. It's doing a fantastic job, really carving its way through our entire city. Lovely stuff. Oh, we can upgrade our city hall. Okay, right, yeah, let's quickly do that. Just upgrade the city hall, why not? There we go, level 4 city hall. Lovely stuff. I guess now logically we can also slam down some kind of giant mech suit, so let's do that. Breaking news, huge mech suits landing from the sky. Ah, yes, the anime has arrived. Welcome, giant anime man. Now the issue is I don't think this disaster can ever leave because basically it needs to absorb power in order to leave, and we don't actually have any power. Oh no, he just destroyed the Globe Theatre. Oh dear, that was actually one of the good things in this city. You can't just destroy the Globe Theatre. Oh, and not that. That was housing at least 1,000 people. Oh, for goodness sake. Well, I mean, there's going to be a lot of dead coffee drinkers, but it's okay. That's a sacrifice I'm more than willing to take. I've also summoned a giant red lizard to absorb all of the various coffee drinkers that still somehow remain in this hellscape. Good, yes, trample all of the already destroyed buildings. You know what, I'm going to say it. I'm not the worst mayor I think the world has ever seen. This has been pretty good. I mean, if you've ever seen Artie gameplay City Skylines, I'm honestly a bit of a humanitarian in comparison to him. So overall, I'd say 10 out of 10. We've nailed it. Would I recommend actually buying and playing SimCity in 2021? No, I'd recommend you go buy City Skylines, get a whole bunch of mods and have some fun. But if you do find yourself wanting to play a city builder game with friends, then this game does actually have multiplayer support, and it is actually one of the good features in this game. It's a multiplayer support that allows you to mess about with your friends, send crime over to their cities, and even help them out. It's honestly a pretty decent experience. That's right, it is a decent experience as rated by me, meaning it actually might be worth your time. time. But of course, that depends entirely if you have friends, and if you guys are anything like me, then I know that's not a possibility. And well, I'm afraid there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I have in store for today's video. If you'd like to see another exciting way of playing a video game in a very silly way using very cheesy strategies, then make sure to give this video a like and do consider subscribing. And of course, a massive thank you to each and every one of our majestic patrons who make this video all the more possible. Seriously, thank you very much. Today's Patreon money was basically spent on buying this game on Origin, which is a task which I strongly do not recommend any one of you do. Keep your money, trust me, do not buy this game on Origin. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see each and every one of you in the next one. Have an absolutely lovely day, my friends, and heck, if you want to watch another video, there's one on screen now. But no matter what, I'll see each and every one of you in the next one. Have a fantastic day, and goodbye for now.